Hour number 3 of the Saturday Sports Report. Back with you. Glad to be with you on a Saturday morning. Glad you are with us this morning right here on 98.3 FM in Spartanburg. Getting a little high school baseball coverage coming up in the next 2 segments as we are going to be joined by the River Bluff head baseball coach right now. Let's bring him in. That is Mark Bonnette, the head baseball coach at River Bluff. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, man. Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely. We appreciate you coming on the game day, on the day of the game, as you guys host Dorman tonight at 7 p.m. Before we get into that matchup, Coach, talk a little bit about those that don't know here in Spartanburg, how this season has been for your River Bluff Gators.
Yeah, we started the year with pretty much a new club. Last year's team, we played for the state championship, and we ended up losing in Game 3 to Northwestern. We graduated 10 seniors, so we really had only a few starters coming back. But I knew we had a talented club, but we were just young. So, any given night we could have 4 sophomores and a freshman in our lineup. So for me, it was just a matter of how soon these guys were going to adjust to playing varsity baseball and growing up. And, I knew the talent level was there. And as our season has come along, man, these guys have really grown up and have played some great baseball.
Well, Coach, losing to Northwestern last year in the state title game, no shame in that. As that Northwestern team last year, I saw those guys in Upper State as Boiling Springs was up there, and those guys last year and even this year were the real deal. Surprised that they went down this year. When you saw that Northwestern went down, what were your thoughts?
Well, it's I was a little surprised, but I know the quality of baseball in the upstate, the coaches, the teams. So, and in baseball, man, really anything can happen on any given night. I wasn't shocked, but they were definitely one of the favorites going in.
And River Bluff hosting Dorman tonight at River Bluff as Dorman Cavaliers come to town. Coach, how familiar are you with the Dorman Cavaliers?
Well, I'm very familiar with Coach Jolly. I go way back with Coach Jolly. Tons of respect for him and the programs that he's been at and what he's done at Dorman. We were lucky enough to host Dorman in our preseason tournament. They played in our invitational that we host here in Lexington. And so we didn't play each other, but I did get to see them a few times, got to see some of their guys. So I have a ton of respect for them. I know how good of a team they are, and I think it's going to be a great series.
Coach, what do you last year losing a lot of seniors and having a good squad this year, what do you consider to be one of your strong points this year? Well,
our team coming back, we knew going in that we were talented in the outfield. We're led offensively by 2 guys that will hit in the top of our order, and that's Alex Irvin, who's a sophomore left-handed hitter who's committed to Clemson, and Jackson Hannon, who hits in the 2-hole for us, who's our center fielder, who's going to go to USC. He's a senior, going to go to USC Aiken. We knew in the outfield-wise, we were going to be solid. Knew we could go get it out there and could play. Infield-wise was where we graduated our entire infield and our catcher. So the guys in the infield have really come along. Our junior shortstop, Noah LeBron, has been playing great of late, really swinging a hot bat. Our second baseman, the senior, Gray Burnett, just been steady all year for us. We have a sophomore at third named Cam Farrell, who's just tough as nails. Man, he's a good ball player. Got a really good bat. And at first base, Hunter Garris, who's a senior. He's also been one of our top pitchers on the mound. So for us, we really came back knowing we had a pretty good nucleus, but it was just a new team. And then on the mound for us, we've had 3 guys that have really stepped up. Ricky Williams, sophomore right-handed pitcher, extremely talented. He pitched in state championship games last year as a freshman. Hunter Garris, like I said, as a left-hander, he's a senior, won 7 games for us. And then senior right-handed pitcher Grant Brittingham, who's another guy that's just stepped up big time for us in the playoffs. So I knew going in that it was going to be a new team, but I really thought we had a chance to have a special year. I wasn't sure if it would end up in the state championship or not, but I did think we had a good club.
Coach, you guys were able to get past Lexington. Lexington, a very good baseball team in the lower state. What was it like to have to battle against them, and talk about that game between River Bluff and Lexington?
It really was an amazing atmosphere. For these kids get to be a part of that. The crowd, it was unbelievable. It's 2 years in a row that we've kind of, I'd say, been kind of paired up with each other at the end. And Coach Hucks at Lexington does an amazing job, and they got great baseball players. And it's just been where we've been able to come out on top the last couple of years. But the atmosphere that these kids have gotten to be a part of, it was the standing room only, just great baseball games. And like I said, we were able to play well enough to pull them out.
Coach, coming into the state playoff again and coming off last year's heartbreaking loss, what is your message to your team this year?
Our message, this is the 5th year of our program. So going into the year, our message was to continue building on what we've done, and every year it stands on its own. So every year as a high school coach, you just kind of say, if we can get the most out of this team, you feel like you've really done a pretty good job as a staff. So going in, we didn't want to put any pressure on these kids to try to live up to any expectations. And to be honest with you, a lot of people in our area didn't expect a whole lot. We were picked to finish 3rd in our region. So I guess there was a little bit of a chip on our young guys' shoulder, and they wanted to prove that they belonged, and they really have, man.
Absolutely. River Bluff tonight will be hosting the Dorman Cavaliers, 7 p.m. Talk about the atmosphere before we let you go, Coach. What's the atmosphere like at River Bluff, and what the Dorman Cavaliers fans expect?
Yeah, it'll be great. Great facility. That's what we really need. Both these places, River Bluff and Dorman, will have great facilities, great place to watch a baseball game. It'll be packed. Last year's crowd was really impressive. Standing room only. It'll be wrapped around the whole ballpark. So it'll be a great night. It's going to be warm, but I really think it's going to be a cool atmosphere for these kids to be a part of.
Coach Mark Bonnette joining us this morning on the Saturday Sports Report. Coach, we appreciate your time this morning, and wish the best of luck to you tonight in the first game of the state finals. And we'll talk to you next week when you guys come to Dorman.
Sounds good. Thanks, but I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach.